Why would you think somebody who's willing to lie about the election results in Pennsylvania is going to restore integrity in the Justice Department the way that you are calling for?
Yeah, Jake, I mean, look at what's happened under the Biden administration. We have people in these offices who have chosen to go after American citizens, who have chosen to weaponize the justice system in a number of ways. When I talked with Pam Bondi, she committed to me to getting back to doing the job of the people, to getting back to doing what the department was created to do.
That's Republican Senator Katie Britt turning CNN host and political show for hire Jake Tapper's loaded question about Pam Bondi back on him, and from the looks of his face, you can tell he wasn't prepared. Welcome to Nurk News, I'm Nurkish, and it looks like the confirmation hearing for Pam Bondi as U.S. Attorney General is scheduled before the Senate Judiciary Committee on January 15th and 16th. As a nominee, Bondi has vowed to restore justice, combat the deep state, and uphold law and order, which naturally puts her at odds with the majority of Democrats and hacks and establishment media.
You're on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi will testify before your committee later this week. You have said she has your support and she will help restore the Department of Justice to become one, quote, driven by blind justice, not blind partisan politics, unquote. We should note, as a member of Trump's legal team in 2020, she falsely claimed that Trump had won Pennsylvania, which he had not. She spread baseless claims about widespread cheating by Democrats, about fake ballots. That is partisan politics, what she said in 2020. That is not justice.
People want these agencies, these departments to actually work for the American people. Pam is committed to that. I think you will see that. What President Trump has done is he has selected people who are willing to not move as business as usual, but yet are ready for action. They understand his vision for the nation. They understand the mandate that was given on November 5th, and they understand that time for talk is gone and time for results and action is now. And so I think people are actually sick of the weaponization. We had this conversation. We talked about politics not being part of the process of what you do in the department. She is committed to that, and I think she's going to do an excellent job of returning the department to the work of the American people. And I am excited for her hearing. I'm certainly excited. It'll be my very first hearing as a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. We've got a lot of great nominees on the Hill this week, and they'll have the opportunity not only to make their case to those on that committee, Jake, but they'll have their opportunity to make their case to the American people of why they are best suited to move President Trump's agenda forward.
You know, it's amazing how Democrats and the media seem to be completely incapable of acknowledging the current weaponization of the DOJ. It was almost like she was just talking to a brick wall whenever she brought it up, which of course is because that's not part of the assigned narrative. Pretend journalists like Tapper are only permitted to bring up the 2020 election as a gotcha question for conservative guests, and if that falls through, just move on to the next thing, which in this case is one of legacy media's favorites, immigration.
Let's turn to Congress right now. The Senate voted this week to advance your legislation, the Lake and Riley Act, which would require federal authorities to detain undocumented immigrants who have been charged with, arrested for, or convicted of burglary, theft, or shoplifting. I'm sure there is wide consensus approval for deporting violent undocumented immigrants 100%. But what I've heard concerns expressed about is indefinitely detaining those who are merely suspected of committing nonviolent crimes, not formally charged. Is that not a concern?
Jake, there's been no more litigated issue over the last 4 years than President Biden and Vice President Harris's open border policies. It is my belief that the American people entered a verdict on that on November 5th, saying we are ready for secure borders. We want our streets and our communities to be safe and secure. And if you look at this, we have 11 million illegal immigrants in this nation. Of that, 7.8 million of those are actually in removal proceedings. Of the 7.8 that are in removal proceedings, Jake, 1.4 million of those have been given final orders of removal, meaning they have been given due process, and we have said it is time for you to leave. My question is, I've heard a number of things about the number of migrants that this would affect. I think more recently was said. My question is, I wonder how many of those who have created theft-related crimes are actually have already been given their final orders of removal. I've asked for those answers and certainly look forward to them. I think at the end of the day, if you don't commit a crime, the Lake and Riley Act, you're not subject to it. So I think we should start there. I think Democrats have to wake up and realize that Americans are sick of excuses and they're ready for action. And as long as you don't commit a crime, this doesn't apply to you.
It's hilarious to see Tapper realize that he underestimated Britt in real time here. He wasn't prepared for her to know any of those numbers and was clearly hoping that she would go on the defense by attacking his straw man and defending the concept of due process for illegals charged with crimes. Thankfully, though, Britt didn't take the bait, and she didn't even adopt his progressive terminology by calling them undocumented migrants, which frankly is the way more politicians need to deal with dishonest members of the media. But let me know what you think. How do you feel about the upcoming Trump confirmations, and are there any people you're concerned about or think won't get through? Let me know in the comments.